27 races across 6 states and territories. This is crunch time.
Oh, it's Jason Bright.
Just 6 points separate our title contenders, Craig Lowndes and Russell Ingall, ready to face off in the finale. Today, 3 races will determine which of these 2 men will be crowned Shell V8 Supercar champion. For title leader Lowndes, it's a fight for survival. Engine failure at Darwin 2 weeks ago exposed a chink in the HRT armor. His opponent, the Enforcer, relentless as ever, took full advantage, closing the points gap in a day of record crowds and high drama.
Sideways and I can tell you what, the stewards are going to be very, very busy today.
It's the final countdown. Network 10 welcomes V8 fans across Australia to Sydney's Oran Park Raceway. Round 10 of the 1998 Shell V8 Supercar Championship. This is Judgment Day.
After 9 rounds and 7 months of travelling the country, the title will be decided here at Sydney's Oran Park Raceway. And for the 14th time in succession, it plays host to Grand Final Day. Hello, I'm Lee Diffie and welcome to the Grand Final of the Shell V8 Supercar Championship. Well, today it's all about 2 things, Lowndes versus Ingall, and who will come out on top at the end of the day. And Barry Sheen, I guess if you were the promoters here, you'd be laughing. Blue skies, big crowds and a nail-biting finish.
Well, it's quite incredible when you think there's 9 rounds, there's 3 races around, so it's 27 races. This is the last round, the last race, and it comes down to 6 points difference. What is going to be interesting, there's been a lot of aggravation lately with the FIA and team orders and stuff like that, or team help in the Formula 1 thing. It's going to be interesting today to see if Russell gets any help from Larry and Craig gets any help from Scafie. But I have to say, I would like to see Russell Ingall win it because it's the poorer of the 2 teams and it'll make a nice change.
Well, we'll have to see how Russell goes because at the moment it's not looking too good after qualifying. He's sitting back in 9th position. It's looking totally the opposite for Craig Lowndes. He picked up his first ever pole here at Oran Park and he's got a big smile on his face. How about this for second? Tony Longhurst going great guns with some good Dunlop tyres on board. Jason Bright came on strong late in the session to pick up 3rd. From Scaife, Neil Crompton again out qualifying Glenn Seaton. Larkham, good work. Excellent qualifying session from the 20-year-old Garth Tander. Ingall struggling back in 9th and John Faulkner rounding out the 10. Well, as we said, it's all about 2 things, Ingall versus Lowndes. Here's Mark Osler with both the boys.
In most team sports, you're either attacking or defending. And the man who's doing the defending today in this battle for the championship is Craig Lowndes. Congratulations on taking pole position. You're 6 points ahead of Russell Ingall, so I suppose you're in defence mode today.
Well, we are, Mark. It's obviously... we've got to win this championship. Really, it's very important for myself and the team. And really, at the moment, obviously, I've got a lot of air between myself and Russell. But you know, Russell will be doing the attacking, and he has great starts. And I've got to get a good start and defend my position. And really, at the moment, I've just got to finish in front of him. How important is you to win this 2nd championship? Well, it hasn't been very easy at all. It's definitely been a hard year, and as I said, it's very important for the guys in the team to win this and make it my 2nd, but make it very good for the team. Wish you all the best today. Thank you, Mark. The man who's doing all the attacking today is Russell Ingall. You're 9th on the grid. Boy, you've got nothing to lose.
Well, I haven't, and I've had plenty of practice coming from sort of midfield onwards, and like I said, I've been in worse positions and come through up the front, and I can't see any reason why I can't do it now.
Well, I know at Darwin 2 weeks ago, after that first race, you thought your championship was over. I guess anything can happen.
It can. It just goes to that old proverb, you know, never give up. But look, I'd like to tell everyone out there, especially the people that are barracking for me, don't you worry. I'm going to be getting in there, and sparks will fly. I guarantee it.
May the best man win.
Absolutely.
Well, Russell Ingall's all fired up, and why shouldn't he be? He's just 6 points off Craig Lowndes for that title. His first it would be. Now what I want you to do is have a look at the points throughout the minor placings, because it's so close between Perkins and Scaife for third, Bowen, Seaton, Johnson and Bright. It's going to be very, very interesting. That's your top 10. Tony Longhurst and Jason Bargwanna still in there. We have a look at the top 20. Larkham just outside the 10. Stephen Johnson well placed in 15. We go back to Richards, Hossack and Finnegan rounding out the 20. Well, as we said earlier, it's perfect weather here at Oran Park today. There's a big crowd on hand. Don't go away, because this is Judgment Day. Welcome back. Well, it's a very special day, grand final day. Have a look at the crowd that's turned up here at Oran Park. It's just fantastic. We get ready for race one, but before we do, Barry, let's talk us around this track.
Yeah, it's a great little circuit, 2.62 kilometres and a lot of corners. Watch there, turn one on the first lap is going to be major. There's lots of good places to pass, and I reckon we're going to be in for a hell of a race.
Well, there's a mammoth grid. Let's have a look at it now. This is how they line up. Craig Lowndes, of course, starts from that #1 position. The first time he's been on pole here at Oran Park. Longhurst, a brilliant qualifying effort. Jason Bright and Mark Scaife, row 2.
Great job by Neil Crompton too in the second Ford Credit Falcon. He starts ahead of the boss, Glenn Seaton in the Ford Credit car. Mark Larkham out of 7, Garth Tander out of 8.
Russell Ingall way back in 9th. Got a bit of work to do there. John Faulkner, Jason Bargwanna 11th and Alan Jones 12th.
John Bauer with Paul Romano, the Queenslander. Dick Johnson, another Queenslander. Larry Perkins back there in 16th position.
Stevie Johnson out of 17. Ellery out of 18. Crick is 19 and Darren Pate 20.
Just check to the right of your screen. You'll see those little logos. H is for Holden, F is for Ford, Yokohama, Dunlop and Bridgestone, the lowercase.
Trevor Ashby and Paul Wheel, 25-26. Smurden and Donaher, the next two.
Rod Mash, Mike Conway in the OAMS car, Neil Shembry and Danny Osborne in the colour scan Falcon.
Well, I tell you what, it's just been a brilliant build-up to this, the final round. There's 9 rounds down, just 1 to go. Who will it be who gets the jump? Craig Lowndes, if he can get away, which he does. He gets away to a terrific start. Vertec Ford driver Jason Wright, he didn't do too bad either. Longhurst has been swamped. Scaife's got the outside run.
Oh, look at Ingall. Now watch for turn 1 up the inside here. If everybody gets through this without Scaife, we'd be very simple.
They do. Brilliant work. Jason Wright's come up into 3rd spot. He holds his position.
Look at Ingall muscling on the inside of turn 1, right up beside the Ford Credit Falcon. He has to make positions very, very quickly if he's going to be in contention to challenge Lowndes in this one. And he really has made some ground. There he is, up behind the first of the Cummins Valvoline Commodores. But it's Craig Lowndes and Mark Scaife, the Holden Racing Team steamroller up front.
Well, congratulations to all of them. How smooth were they until then? John Bow just came in contact with the wall, got pushed wide a little bit there, but everything else has been terrific. It's been so smooth. Bright's got a battle on his hands already with Tony Longhurst. Longhurst has dropped back a couple of positions. Scaife was quick to get up there, but it's Craig Lowndes who leads the way. Looks like Seaton is back there in 5th position.
Yeah, well, the thing that Ingall has got to be very, very careful of is not to get in too much of a panic, in too much of a hurry to make other places. I know it's a tight circuit, but really, you know, he has to kind of calm himself down a little bit.
Well, very encouraging performance by Russell Ingall in the warm-up this morning. He was only 0.04 of a second behind the fastest man, Mark Scaife. So plenty of speed on the Castrol VT Commodore. He's sitting back there in the order now as they come across the start-finish line.
Well, he's already picked up 2 positions. He's come from 9th off the grid up into 7th. He's right behind Garth Tander. There you go. You can see it for yourselves out the windscreen of Russell Ingall's VT Commodore. He's got quite a few places to catch up if he wants to try and catch Lowndes. The important thing is, though, is that the enforcer must stay in this race. He's got to finish. Otherwise, Lowndes could creep away with it in this one.
Yeah, by the same token, Lowndes, even though he wants to pull a bit of a gap on the front, he can't afford to sort of go bananas to pull out a big gap because, you know, all the time he's running the risk of going off the circuit and putting himself out the points.
Well, a lot of controversial decisions on-track incidents at Hidden Valley 2 weeks ago. So a lot of these drivers are going to be very conscious, not stepping out of line, not copying the wrath of the officials. But Russell Ingall particularly has the heat on. He's pursuing Craig Lowndes as he tries to build a lead at the front. He's got it up to 1 second on his teammate Scaife.
Well, Bargwanna's come up from 11th into 10th position on that last lap. How many do you want on the track? There's 32 cars out there duking it out, and Russell Ingall's got Garth Tander in his sights at the moment. There's your top 4, Lowndes, Scaife, they go through. Bright has pulled out maybe 3 or 4 car lengths on Tony Longhurst. Then it's Glenn Seaton who's sitting there in 5th, Tander 6th, and then Ingall back in 7th. Those positions haven't changed.
Good drive from Tander.
Very good drive from the 20-year-old. He qualified extremely well, and there he is sitting in 6th position. He is in the hot spot at the moment, no doubt about that.
Well, we've seen Craig Lowndes do some scintillating times in the opening laps on cold tyres. He's always able to build a buffer. Not so this weekend. Mark Skate staying with him. He's just 0.8 of a second behind Lowndes in the new Mobil 1 VT Commodore. Jason Bright back there in third position. Then Tony Longhurst, sensational running qualifying to get off the front row. He's on the new Level 1 Dunlop tyres this weekend, and the car is going like a train.
Makes a bit of a difference, doesn't it? He's going exceptionally well. The Castrol Ford, down onto the bottom part of the circuit they go. He was wrapped yesterday to qualify second. He's sitting fourth at the moment. Seaton behind, another Ford driver, Bright in front.
So good for Longhurst, because for so long he struggled so badly, and people said, well, is it really the tyres? And there's little doubt now.
Exactly that. Well, we have a look back. There is Russell Ingall. This is what work he has in front of him. He's got Tander, Seaton, Longhurst, Bright and Skate all in front of him before he gets up to the man who he has to mix it with. He won't get there this race unless something untoward happens to Lowndes. As we have a look at the triple Emetry on board with Russell Ingall.
Well, judging by Russell's normal sort of performance, he gets past as many as quick as he can, and he seems to have settled into a bit of a pace. Lap time-wise, lapping virtually the same speed as Tander.
Yeah, you look at those lap times in the top 6 or 7. They're all running the 1:08.87 for Lowndes, Skate, 1:08.76. They're only separated by hundredths of a second, this leading 8 or 9 cars.
Pressure, because he's never had pressure like this, that's for sure. Tell you what, it's back to Formula 4 days for Garth, but I tell you, it's a little bit more serious at the moment. This is the grand final of the Shell V8 Supercar Championship, and he's sitting right in front of the man who is trying to get his first title, his first. There's Perkins out. Flat tyre by the looks of it, shredded tyre.
Yeah, it's shredded, but it looks like it's flat anyhow.
Dunlop teams running a new experimental. Oh, there's some damage there too for Dick Johnson. Looks like he's got
another
a flat tyre.
Oh, 2 Dunlop flats.
Well, this is interesting stuff. Dunlop has been experimenting with a new construction tyre this weekend. There's a bit of a punt to see if they get an edge. And hopefully, these 2 incidents happening to Larry Perkins and Dick Johnson aren't a reflection on this new tyre. We'll hopefully wait and see. Have our fingers crossed for Russell Ingall, because he's on exactly the same rubber.
Well, that's it for the meantime. They're both coming in together, Dick Johnson and Larry Perkins together coming into the pits, so I'll have to whack a new one on. Here's the contact.
Oh, there you go. That's one. That's what it was. No, there's your answer to your
You can wipe
well, that's pretty easy solved, isn't it?
Yeah, you can wipe your brow on that one. That's where the...
But Dunlop's on panicking about it now.
So back into pit lane for Dick Johnson and Larry Perkins. Bit of contact there. Meanwhile, here's our race leader, Craig Lowndes. And that gap, he's not been able to build that buffer over Mark Skate. It's remained at 0.8 to 1 second. With his opening 4 laps, 5 laps completed. As Lowndes crossed the start-finish line time, a slow one for Lowndes too, a 1:10.21. Skate 4 or 5 tenths quicker that time around.
Well, it's the perfect scenario for the Mobil 1 HRT outfit, because Mark Skate was having a private battle with Larry Perkins for the 3rd spot in the championship. I'm sure the HRT boys have told Skate that Larry has come in for some problems. Maybe they have, maybe they haven't, but it's certainly playing into his hands nicely, and he can sit there as rear guard for his teammate. Perhaps today will be the new Shell V8 Supercar champ for the 2nd time in his career. 1996, in his debut year, he took out the title, and he could do it in his 2nd year as well.
Jason Bright's catching the 2 HRT guys.
Yeah, that gap coming down between these leading 3. Bridgestone on board camera. Bridgestone driver profile. Craig Lowndes, so the statistics there. Unbelievable winning ratio. 11 wins from only 19 starts. Incredible winning ratio. Over 60% for this young man. It's very, very rarely you'll see him not on the podium at the end of a Shell touring car round. Here he is leading, and John Powell got problems here.
Look at the smoke in that.
He's got a real barbecue on board Shell 18. Looks like he's pressing on, but that looks pretty terminal.
Well, an unhappy day so far for the Shell Helix Racing team. Dick Johnson has already come into the pits and had to change a tyre. Now, there's nothing that you can see there, or that we can see. Now, we've just got word through on damage at the back there, back left.
Rear, yeah.
That may have been from that first incident on the opening lap where we saw Bow collect the wall exactly where Dick Johnson and Larry Perkins did.
Well, that could be where all that smoke's coming from, with that tyre rubbing on that guard. These cars have no panel gap sealing at all, so anything on the outside finds its way inside the car very easily. So there could be all that smoke belching from that tyre, but you can see it's still rubbing there. Hope you can make the full race distance.
Top privateer at the moment is Toll Ford driver Anthony Tratt. He's going well, but it's still Lowndes, Skate, Bright sitting in 3rd spot, who has he and his team have been working overtime to get the car back on the track, but that's not the car that he raced at Hidden Valley. It's in fact Alan Jones's car from last year. Now there's the smoke starting to appear when it picks up some high speed down the main straight.
Yeah, Tander and Ingle are doing exactly the same time, so it doesn't look as if Russell is going to make much more progress, unless something happens to somebody up front.
Neil Crompton sitting in 8th position in the second Ford Credit Falcon, and Larkham 9th, Barguana rounding out the 10. It's all been pretty stable in the top 10 so far.
Sure has. Very much dominated by Bridgestone cars throughout qualifying, apart from Longhurst's outstanding effort in the Castrol Ford. Mostly Bridgestone from top to bottom, so it really has been a happy hunting ground for the Bridgestone runners over the years.
Well, this will be interesting, guys. Have a look at this, because there was a fair bit of daylight behind Ingle not so long ago. Here's Crompton. He's arrived on the scene, so he could mix things up nicely. 111, Neil Crompton makes his return to the V8 Supercars after doing some runs in the GTP series, filling in for John Bowe in the Ferrari, but he is very anxious and really looking forward to climbing on board the #1 Ford Credit machine with Glenn Seaton for the Enduros, both the Tickford 500 and the Australian 1000 Classic.
And he did great yesterday. He was on the pole position for a little while.
Yeah.
Sid Chrome Proto onboard camera looking out the back of Russell Ingle's Castrol VT. Russell working very, very hard, but he's not making up positions. He's still sitting there in 7th position. He's made up 2 off the start, but he really has remained static. The times amongst these top 10 cars are so identical, it's very, very hard to make progress.
In the situation that Russell's in at the moment, it puts you in a bit of a dilemma, because you think, well, hang on a second, what do I do here? Do I sort of really go out on a limb here and be a brave guy and stick it up the inside, or have a go, try very, very hard with a chance of putting myself out, or do I see how things go in the first race and wait for the second race, and then sort of, when it gets to the stage where I've got nothing to lose, then have a go then?
Yeah, it's an interesting decision to have to make. He's going to be having to be watching the rearview mirror as well, because Neil Crompton has got even closer, less than a car length behind. And tell you what, Russell's dropped just slightly off from Garth Tanner as they came over the Dunlop Bridge and around. They head back onto what's known as the South Circuit. Things are looking good for the kid. Craig Lowndes has got a commanding lead at the moment, and his teammate Mark Scaife is sitting in there right behind as the protector. Bright, Longhurst and Seaton, that's your top 5. We're going to go back to the young kid, Garth Tander, Russell Ingle, Neil Crompton, Larkham and Barguana. More after this. Welcome back to Grand Final Day. You're watching race 1 of 3, and just as things were looking, well, reasonably orderly, we've got a bit of chaos. Here's the replay of what happened down on the back part just before the Dunlop Bridge. Yeah, Terry Finnegan getting out of shape, and that sent Greg Crick nice and wide and crunch right into the wall. So that has caused the safety car to come on out. Those 2 cars weren't going anywhere. So we are ready to go racing. The lights are off on the pace car, and this is played right into the hands of Russell Ingle, who was, well, quite a way behind race leader and championship leader Craig Lowndes, but now he's in there with a shot.
I think you'll find that Russell's been so revved up now. He's seen the fact that he was not making any ground, and look, this was really bad. On behalf of, who was that? It was Glenn Seaton, was quite a long way back, and Russell was back behind Garth Tanner, so it hasn't really done him any favours. Got him.
Yep, got Tander just coming across the start-finish line as we went back to green flag conditions, so Ingle moves up a position.
Yeah, you can see the old Russell out now, I think.
He's up to 6, so in front of him is Seaton, Longhurst, Bright, Scaife and Lowndes. Distance on the track across the line that time was 3 seconds.
Oh,
Longhurst trying to make life hard for Jason Bright as we have a look at Russell Ingle in the Castrol Commodore, who's now up into 6th position. Glenn Seaton right in front of him. Lowndes and Scaife, they've bolted. There's a little battle going on here between Bright and Longhurst.
Isn't it fantastic to see the Castrol Ford so competitive? He's been out there for, I think this is his 4th season in V8 Supercar, really struggling with a tyre package that really wasn't up to the job. Now he's found himself some competitive rubber. This car is proving how quick it always should have been.
Well, that's what Tony's always said. He said, my car is as quick as anybody's. Give me some decent black stuff and I'll show you exactly what it can do. And here he is mixing it with, well, the young guy who's been probably the best Ford driver this year, Jason Bright, although he's had some negative moments as well. He's been very, very quick in the Pertec Ford. This is the battle for 3rd at the moment between Bright and Longhurst. We go back, Seaton and Ingle are the next pair that are going to be fighting it out, although Russell's got quite a bit of ground to catch up on Glenn Seaton.
Well, Tony might have made the best call on tyres here this weekend too, because effectively, under this new arrangement he has with Dunlop, he's a level 2 team, so he was able to choose some different tyres to what Ingle and Johnson and Bowe have been running.
Yeah,
and it seems to, I think he's got the demon
exactly.
selection.
it's done him a favour, but I look so.
So at the moment it's Lowndes, Scaife, Bright, Longhurst, Seaton, Ingle, Tander back to 7th, Crompton in 8th, Larkham 9th. John Faulkner has come up into the top 10, so he's managed to work his way past Jason Bargwana. There's the gap from leader all the way back. We pick up Ingle sitting there in 6th, and he's got Tander right on his hammer, and Crompton's doing well in 8th.
You have to say, looking at Ingle, he's struggling. There's no doubt, you know, because he's making little or no ground on Seaton. And you just get a look, and when we get a look at him, he just looks like he's having a hard time.
Well, just like he's stuck in there, doesn't it, Baz?
Yeah.
He's doing like high nines, he's just on a 109.67. That's
plateaued out, that's it.
Quicker than Longhurst was last time.
There you see, look, Tander's going to give him a bit of a hurry up again.
So he's not making progress, he's just basically holding position, really hanging on by his fingernails in this one.
It's a good drive by Garth Tander, sitting in there behind Russell Ingle, and there's Neil Crompton further back behind that. Nice and close comes Tander. Using his head though, driving very sensibly, not doing anything silly.
And if the cars finish as they are in these current positions, Lowndes lead over Ingle will be 18 points, and Russell will be so aware of this point situation, every position crucial as these laps unfold.
Oh, another one.
Yeah, it looks like Donahue's Ultra-Tune Commodore, one of the privateers. I think he's tasted the concrete.
Well, so many have there today in this opening race. It's been plenty of crunches over there as we have a look at Garth Tander in the 134 Valvoline Cummins Commodore, chasing out after Russell Ingle, who is a long way behind Craig Lowndes. He'd want to be a lot closer. Here's the Bridgestone profile on the young guy, the current Australian Formula 4 champion. He won't be after today. That title up for grabs here as well. Adam Macro looking good for that. Tander stepped up into the V8 ranks. He's had just 6 starts, just started 6 rounds. He's done very well this year so far.
Look at that top 10 order. Lowndes, now he is the fastest man on the track. He just did a 1:08, pulled out a very, very quick one when everyone else is running in the 1:09 second bracket. So plenty of speed aboard the Mobil 1 Commodore. He's doing this easily. 0.7 of a second, the lead over his teammate Mark Scaife, and I have no doubt at all Mark Scaife playing a rear gunner action for Lowndes. He's not going to challenge him for position. He's going to sit in there and run a race with him.
Well, yeah, why wouldn't he? The 24-year-old Craig Lowndes leads the way quite comfortably. We've got just 4 laps left to run. This is the perfect start. He got pole position. He's been able to keep it out in front. Nice clean air, clean track, and do it the way he wants. As for Russell Ingle, he's had to do it a lot harder. He's had to fight. He picked up 2 positions, 3 positions after the safety car went off, from 9th up to 6th. And that's the best that he can do. I'd say positions are going to remain the same unless something drastic happens.
Yeah, I think he's going to have to just worry about Tander. He's forgotten about Seaton because he's dropping back from Seaton, and just keep covered from Tander, losing place to Tander.
3 laps remaining, and Russell Ingle, the pursuer, with the triple telemetry on the number 8 Castrol Commodore. See if we can do a lap with our pursuer Russell Ingle aboard the Castrol VT. Gear position selectors as being a little bit behind there. You can see that shift from 3rd to 4th. It's a second or so late. We do have some delays with the signal getting from the car to our electrical equipment, so that's why you see that little delay.
That little shot there we saw of Russell, you can see that Russell is working hard and he's not going fast.
Well, he's doing the best that he possibly can. Look at that. That look of determination that we've seen so many times, especially at Hidden Valley in race 2 when he came from 13th to 1st. And there's no doubt about that he's trying to do it today. He's trying to do it in this opening race, but he just can't. Sitting there in 6th, and that's where he's going to stay. He'll have to be happy with that.
That's Crompton behind him now, not Tander.
Crompton's taken Tander, so a little change toward the rear of the top 10. Ingle's trying. There's no doubt this man will be squeezing maximum potential from this car. And the Ford Credit Falcon, triple 1 car of Neil Crompton closing in. So you can see Ingle's just hanging on. Not enough speed aboard the car, but they'll go away and they'll work very hard on it between heats 1 and 2. Try and make some adjustments to the chassis to try and maximise the car's performance for heat 2. Synchrone Proto onboard camera shows he's copying plenty of heat from Neil Crompton.
TV doesn't really show it, but this track, I mean, it's quite an undulating circuit here. There's quite a steep downhill section around. This is the far bottom part of the section. They come back up. They go through a very fast change of direction here and then down onto the main straight. Craig Lowndes, it's going to be a very special day already. That's the way it looks. We've got one more lap left to run. Yesterday, he brought up Holden's 100th pole position. It was a very significant moment for Holden and for Lowndes because it was his very first pole position here at Oran Park, and he has never won a V8 supercar race here. So he is going to do that in just 3/4 of a lap. So plenty of milestones for the 24-year-old Melburnian.
It's been a good year for Holden's too. Debut of the new VT Commodore, and Russell Ingall's victory at Hidden Valley was their 100th
win.
Round win, yeah. So they've had a tremendous run with this new VT Commodore. It's obviously got enormous potential for the future. Ford will be waiting with bated breath for the debut of its new AU Falcon early next year.
There's a huge crowd here, plenty of Ingall fans, plenty of Lowndes fans, and I'm sure there's plenty at home as well. But the Mobil 1 HRT gun has struck the opening blow. No doubt about that. Craig Lowndes is less than half a lap from home. Up through this change of direction I was telling you about, the dog leg, down this very steep hill. This is the final corner out of Recaro speed line. It's the run to home for Craig Lowndes, and he stretches the lead over Russell Ingall. He takes out race 1 here at Oran Park for an HRT 1-2. His teammate Mark Scape in for a great second spot, and Jason Bright in the Pertec Ford end up getting there for third. A really good effort there. Lowndes, the win from pole. And there would be some relief inside that helmet for sure. Yesterday it was a very anxious time before qualifying. Placing so much importance on that. He gives a thumbs up and a bit of a wave to his teammate Mark Scape. And, well, there's the man that has it all to do with just 2 races left in this year's Shell V8 Supercar Championship. Russell Ingall, can he do it? It's still not out of the question. We saw how drastically things turned around at Hidden Valley in Darwin. It is not over yet, but I tell you what, it's certainly looking good for this guy. Craig Lowndes. He has only ever driven in one other Shell V8 Supercar Championship. That was in 1996. He won it. This is his second season, and he is just 2 races away from taking out his second. Mark Scape will be extremely satisfied with that second spot because that helps him big time in the points department with his personal battle, I guess you could say, for third with Larry Perkins. Perkins had some bad luck there. We saw quite a few cars come into the pits. Dick Johnson, John Bow, Larry Perkins, Alan Jones had a visit to pits as well. As we ride with Craig Lowndes, the new VT Mobil 1 HRT Commodore coming into pit lane. You should see him make his way down to his pits, and you'll see the car swamped by the HRT mechanics. The behind-the-scenes people who work so hard to get these cars in top shape, and they work extremely hard, so much so at Hidden Valley, one of their guys, he collapsed with heat exhaustion, working so hard. There they are, some Bridgestone engineers, tyre engineers, and the rest of the team. Craig Lowndes, he opens the day in the best possible way with a win from his teammate Mark Scape. Jason Bright, a steady third spot. Tony Longhurst in for 4th ahead of Glenn Seaton. Ingall, Crompton, Tander, Larkham and Bargwanna, they're your top 10. So we go to Barry Sheen. Now he's with Ross Brody.